Listening is often treated as background noise in our lives, something that happens automatically while our real focus drifts elsewhere. Yet the difference between hearing and listening can shape everything from your closest relationships to entire organizations, communities, and at times, even history. When voices are dismissed or inconvenient perspectives are filtered out, opportunities vanish, trust erodes, and potential goes to waste. The cost can be measured in fractured partnerships, failed projects, and disconnection that quietly undermines progress. Most of us think we're better at listening than we really are. Research shows we rate ourselves as 6 times more effective than others perceive us to be. This blind spot matters because listening is more than passively absorbing words. It's the willingness to have your mind changed. That requires setting aside distractions, resisting the urge to jump ahead, and opening yourself to perspectives that may challenge your assumptions. Done well, listening shortens conversations, reduces wasted effort, and creates stronger connections. Done poorly, it leaves people repeating themselves, feeling invisible, or checking out altogether. Today, you'll learn how to prepare yourself to listen with presence, how to direct and sustain attention, how to use your eyes and body to catch what words miss, how to seek the backstory for clarity, how to pick up on subtle language patterns, and how to help others surface the deeper meaning behind what they say. Step by step, you'll see how small shifts in the way you listen can make every conversation more effective and more human. Let's get started. Listening begins long before a single word is spoken. It starts with how you arrive in the moment and ready yourself to pay attention. Your mind may still be buzzing with the last phone call, an unanswered email, or a dozen unfinished thoughts. Unless you take a moment to set those aside, they'll follow you into the conversation. You might look like you're listening, but the other person will notice the difference between polite attention and genuine presence. Think of it like an orchestra. Before every performance, no matter how experienced the musicians are, they always tune their instruments. It's a ritual that signals respect for the music, the audience, and each other. In the same way, you can tune yourself before a conversation by pausing, setting aside distractions, and signaling to yourself and others that you're ready to listen. That tuning begins with listening to yourself. A simple 3-minute exercise of sitting quietly, switching your phone to Do Not Disturb, and asking what you're not listening to in yourself can bring up the thoughts and feelings that otherwise tug at your attention. By surfacing them, you prevent them from hijacking the conversation later. Distractions will still happen, both inside your head and in the world around you. Internal distractions might show up as worries about the past or future, while external ones might come from noise, notifications, or interruptions. You can't eliminate them, but you can notice them sooner and reset your focus with something as simple as a breath, a pause, or a small anchor in your environment. Before your next conversation, try creating your own short ritual. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, or silence your notifications. A couple of minutes of tuning will change how you listen and how others feel when they speak with you. You're tuned. Now direct that attention where it counts. In the next section, you'll see how focus, empathy, and single tasking can change outcomes. The cost of poor listening can be staggering. In 2005, economist Raghuram Rajan warned a room of senior bankers that the financial system's incentives were dangerously out of balance and could trigger a global collapse. Instead of being taken seriously, he was dismissed as overly pessimistic. Just 3 years later, his prediction became reality. What failed wasn't access to information. His research was right there. But the willingness to truly hear what was being said. Listening that filters out uncomfortable details may feel easier in the moment, but it blinds us to what matters most. Our minds default to scanning for the familiar, comparing what we hear with what we already know. That habit feels efficient but filters out what doesn't fit, even when those differences matter most. To listen effectively, you need to be conscious of whether you're focusing on similarities to confirm your view or differences that might expand it. Working memory makes this balancing act delicate. While someone speaks about 125 words a minute, you can process more than 400. That speed leaves room for wandering, assumptions, and missed meaning, which is why multitasking while listening almost always fails. True attention shows up as empathy, not sympathy. Empathy signals that you understand how the other person feels, while sympathy pulls the focus back to your own story. In groups, attention needs direction. Start by aligning on shared goals, then welcome differences early, so they add perspective rather than derail progress. In your next conversation, use quick resets to stay present. Glance at the other person's eye color for a couple of seconds, take a slower breath, or adjust your posture if you notice yourself drifting. These small cues ground your attention and make it easier to truly hear what's being said. In the next section, we'll explain how your eyes, body, and even room setup sharpen what you hear. Percussionist Evelyn Glennie grew up in rural Scotland and lost her hearing by the age of 12. A teacher noticed she played barefoot to feel vibrations and guided her toward percussion, encouraging her to sense sound through her whole body. She went on to earn international recognition, proving that true listening isn't limited to your ears. It's about noticing subtle signals, drawing on eyes, body, and attention to capture meaning that words alone don't reveal. Start by matching how you listen to how someone speaks. Many people communicate as storytellers with characters and tension. Others prefer tight sequences, numbers, and dates. Mismatch your filter and you drift. Notice which channel they favor, then adjust so you're catching their meaning, not fighting their style. The setting matters too. Acoustics, surfaces, and seating change what you actually hear. As acoustic engineer and violinist Cam Ho puts it, if you have line of sight, you usually have line of sound. When the room fights you, change positions, soften echoes, or move. Once the words are clear, your eyes do heavy lifting. Align at eye level so attention is unmistakable. Typical conversations hit 30 to 60% eye contact, while meaningful connection strengthens around 60 to 70. More than 10 seconds straight can feel uncomfortable, and norms vary by culture. Watch for shifts in posture or breath that don't fit the sentence. Those moments often mark a turning point. Reflect understanding with neutral paraphrases and questions that check meaning without correcting. Emotions run through every exchange. Track changes in energy and pleasantness rather than rushing to label them as anger, sadness, or frustration. Instead, invite the other person to describe what shifted. Simple visuals or a few anchor words can help you remember, and sharing notes near the end of a meeting aligns understanding. Online, lift your camera to eye level, shrink the active speaker near the lens, and use captions to reduce strain. Try this today. In your next conversation, every 2 to 3 minutes, jot a single word that captures what matters most, then share a brief recap near the end to confirm you both heard the same thing. Once you're noticing signals, you'll need the story behind them. Next up, how rewinding to the beginning unlocks clarity. When someone tells you a story, chances are they don't start at the beginning. Most of us skip straight to the part that feels most important in the moment. The conflict, the problem, the climax. But without the backstory, meaning gets lost, connections weaken, and assumptions take over. Learning to listen for what happened before the headline moment changes how well you truly understand another person. Take community organizer Simon Greer. His work teaching students to communicate across deep political divides makes far more sense when you know his background. He grew up in a Jewish left-wing household, spent summers at a communist camp, and later worked with Poland's Solidarity movement. Once he shared that history, the project stopped being abstract and became a natural extension of who he was. The same principle applies in everyday conversations. Until you hear what came before, you're missing half the story. You see the problem when people jump straight to their movie climax. If all you heard about Slumdog Millionaire was that a contestant was questioned by police during a game show, you'd miss the love story, the loss, and the years that led to that scene. Listeners often fall into the trap of filling in gaps with guesses, which drains energy and risks confusion. Asking someone to rewind, literally saying, "Can you take me back to when this started?" helps uncover the full picture. The consequences of skipping context can be serious. At the 2018 U.S. Open final, Serena Williams' clash with umpire Carlos Ramos was reported as a furious outburst. But Ramos had a history of strict rulings. Her coach later admitted to signaling from the stands. And Serena, chasing a record-tying 24th Grand Slam, felt her integrity questioned. Without that background, the headlines miss the meaning. Next time you're in a conversation, try this. Pause and ask, when did you first notice this? You'll be surprised how much more opens up once you hear what came before. When the backstory is clear, language becomes a map. In the next section, you'll find out how adjectives, pronouns, and time reveal where someone's mind sits. Retired Highway Patrol Sergeant Kevin Briggs spent years meeting people on the Golden Gate Bridge at moments when their lives hung in the balance. He found that when someone shifted from short answers to using richer, more descriptive language, it signaled growing trust and a willingness to imagine a future. Noticing patterns like this shows how meaning often lives beyond the words themselves, and why listening to how something is said can be as important as listening to what is said. Language offers constant clues. Adjectives, for example, are often emotional markers. In one workplace project, participants anonymously described their efforts with words like draining, frustrating, and political. None mentioned trust, yet the language clearly pointed to its absence. Pronouns are another signpost. A speaker stuck on I may be inward-focused, while one who says we or they signals a wider lens. Listening for these patterns helps you understand where someone's attention is fixed. And with careful questions, you can encourage them to broaden their perspective. The way people prefer to explain things also matters. Some speak best through stories, weaving characters and events. Others anchor themselves in details, data, and dates. Frustration often arises when styles clash, with storytellers feeling rushed or detail-oriented speakers feeling unheard. Acknowledging the speaker's preference makes the exchange smoother and builds trust. You can also catch whether someone frames issues in absolutes, always or never, or compares everything to something else. These habits reveal the models shaping their thinking. Even how they place their story in time, past, present, or future, offers a window into how they make sense of their experience. Here's something you can try right away. During your next meeting or conversation, listen carefully for the pronouns someone uses. If they're locked on I, gently shift perspective with a question about we or they. This simple move can open up new angles, reduce stuck thinking, and show that you're listening to more than just the words. Those clues set you up for the real work, meaning. The next section helps you move past first answers to what truly matters. When someone speaks, their first words rarely tell the whole story. Most of us think nearly 7 times faster than we talk, so what comes out at first is often just a slice of what really matters. The role of a good listener isn't simply to take in the words, but to help uncover what those words actually represent. Consider the experience of a young fundraiser meeting a wealthy woman for breakfast in New York. At first, she assumed they had little in common. The donor's expensive clothes and polished appearance seemed to signal distance. But instead of diving into her pitch, she asked about the woman's background. The donor then shared how, as a girl, she and her mother had been silenced at the dinner table, while her father and brothers discussed the world. For her, giving money wasn't about status or recognition. It was about making sure other girls would never grow up voiceless. What she offered was driven not by wealth, but by meaning. That story highlights the essence of listening at this level. Meaning often appears when someone links their past with the future they want to shape. Emotions and feelings provide strong clues. A small irritation, like a partner leaving dishes in the sink, can point to deeper concerns about respect or even love. If you're attentive, you can help someone move from what happened to what it represents, to why it matters in the broader context of their life and relationships. Listening for meaning also means focusing on essence rather than clutter. Watch for emphasis when someone says things like, actually, or the point is. These signals mark the shift from surface to significance. Your role is to notice it, hold the space, and allow the speaker to explore what it truly means for them. Here's something practical you can try. In your next conversation, once the other person has finished speaking, pause. Don't rush to respond or solve. Simply ask, "What does that mean for you?" Then stay quiet long enough for them to think it through. Often, their second answer will be the one that reveals what really matters. Put together, these moves turn everyday chats into conversations that actually change things. Use them, practice them, and people will feel heard, perhaps for the first time.